In the next lesson, what we're going to do is take an image and entirely replace the background with a few of the overlays stacked on top of each other. And I'm also going to show you a few other tricks on selection and color grading. Let's get started. All right, let's go to File, Open. And now I'm going to open this JPEG here. And what I want to do is create a spotlight here that's shining down on her, and also create some atmosphere into this background. Kind of make it look like she's dancing on a stage during a performance. So to do that, we're going to have to do a few things. We're going to have to cut her out of the background. We're going to have to make the entire background darker, and then we're going to have to layer and color some various atmosphere effects on top of the image. So first things first, let's cut her out of the background. And I'm going to go on my quick selection tool and click on select subject. I think it's actually going to do a pretty good job. So now let's go to select and mask. Just take a closer look here. And I might change this overlay color just because red on skin color, it's a bit hard to see how good this selection is. So let's maybe change it to a green color. There you can see it's a little more obvious where her fingers aren't selected. I'm just going to use the normal brush tool and just kind of paint in what the selection missed there. Like so. With most of the kind of automatic selection tools in Photoshop, you'll find that you usually have to do some amount of cleanup after the fact, and that's just, it is what it is. It used to be that we had to do these selections entirely by hand, so any kind of tool that helps make it a little easier is a welcome addition to Photoshop. All right. Pretty happy with that. Let's just use our refine edge on the hair here. I want to make sure I don't brush into where her arm is so it doesn't delete any of her arm. And I think that'll work. All right, let's turn on some Smart Radius and hit OK. I'm going to make a copy of this layer, add a mask to it, and then we'll call this new background. And I want to just use my gradient tool, foreground to transparent, select this darker color up here, and just make a gradient that goes behind her like this. And then I'm going to take the opacity down on that, like so. So right around 65, I would say. Okay. All right, now let's start adding some overlays. So first I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded, and I'm going to grab the Nebulosity 18. That's just going to add some smoke down here. And let's put this on screen. I'm going to do Command M and then bring my black point down to about there. All right, that's pretty good. All right, now I still want to clean up this edge. To do that, I'm going to add a mask, and with my gradient, just go from this edge, hold down Shift like that, and then do a few gradients here. So it's just this kind of edge smoke coming in there. And I want this to be this cyany color. So I'm going to go back into my curve, go to red, and pull that down until I get that cyan color. That looks good. All right, next let's go to File, Place Embedded. I'm going to grab the stage light. And this is a stage light, and I want that shining on her. Now, I want to scale this up, but from here. So if I grab this little anchor point here, I can put it where that is. And if you don't see the anchor point, click on this check mark. And then if I hold down Option, it's going to scale it from that point. And I can also actually change the blend mode here so I can see where it is in relation to her. So I kind of want it shining right about there. So let's hit maybe down a little bit right there. All right, let's hit OK. And I want this to be a more warm light. So I'm going to do Command M. And in here, I'm going to go to my blue, pull it down, get some yellow into the light, because we got a strong yellow light hitting her. So this should be pretty yellow. And then maybe just a little bit of red like that. All right, next we're going to do File, Place Embedded. And we're going to grab Textured Light 01. And this is going to be our main spotlight here. So we'll just go from here like that and scale this up to about there. All right, we're going to put this on screen, and I want this to be behind her. So we'll put that behind her like that. And then I'm going to do Command M and adjust this as well. So a little bit of yellow and some red. And I'm going to add a mask to this, and with a soft black brush, just going to paint. I'm going to put it on 100% opacity. I'm kind of starting outside of where it is and then just kind of edging into it, trying to get as clean of a line there as possible so it looks natural and there isn't an unnatural edge to this. So just about there looks really good. All right, next I'm going to do File, Place Embedded again. And this one is Textured Light 05. And this is kind of just going to be a background to this whole thing. It's just going to add like that. We're going to put this on screen. And this one we're going to make pretty dark. So we'll do Command M and just pull it down to about there. And then we're going to make it more yellow and more red. And I'm going to just take the opacity on that down. So we're really just seeing a little hint of it there. And I think I also want to put a mask on that and just kind of block it from the top behind that light, and then also clean up the edge of it there, just like that. And I just noticed we are seeing a little bit of an edge there, so I'm going to go on this mask for this guy here, just add a little gradient there at the bottom, just like that. And I'm also going to adjust the curve on this, make it just a little darker here, so we have a little more texture in that light. And I'm pretty happy with that. Next thing I want to do is add a little bit of a color gradient over the whole thing. Actually, before I do the color gradient, similar to what we did with the knife in a previous tutorial, is I want to make her highlight glow. So I'm going to make a copy of her layer, apply the layer mask, bring it to the very top, do Command M for curve, bring the bottom in so we just have her highlights. And you'll notice that her highlights are almost all red, which I don't want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Image, Adjustments, Black and White. And here I can control which colors, when it turns black and white, which colors turn to white. So in this case, I want my red to be bright. So now I'm getting that nice highlight where that light is. So let's hit OK. I'm going to put this on screen. And then add a nice big Gaussian blur to it. 50 looks good. And then I'm going to do Command M, and like I was doing with my atmosphere, I'm actually going to adjust this so that it's a little more yellow and a little more red. And then I can take the opacity down on it. Actually, I think it actually looks pretty good. It's a little too strong right here. So what I can do is just add a mask, and with a large black brush, just paint out this area there. So now it's more just where the light's hitting her. Maybe take the opacity down to 80. So pretty happy with that. What I might do is just add a curve to the very top. Maybe pull the curve down just a little so we get a little more contrast. And then in my blue curve, I'm going to pull the top up so we get this nice blue color to all over her blacks, and then pull the bottom or the top down so that our colors aren't really affected, and it'll give our highlights a nice yellow light. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with that, and you can see how we can add these overlays and kind of create a whole different vibe to our image with just a few overlays and some quick color corrections in Photoshop.